Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. This is Matt, and this is the final episode of season 2 of the Matt-umentary, otherwise known as
fireworks going off and fucking fangirls running around in bikinis and stuff, and it's finally over.
Well, I had to put a video up last week of you not being here because you fucked off to London. So
I did, with my bestie,
with Tyler,
Tyler Lunsford, yeah,
and David.
And David Murphy.
And you disappeared to London, so I had to just say, hey, here's the footage. I have questions. I'll ask him about the
Oh, has it gone up?
Yeah, it went up last week.
Okay.
Because, you know, they go up on the Thursday regardless of whether
Oh,
you're
yeah,
here or not.
I've had people message me about it, to be fair. I just try, I don't want to see it. Is it okay?
It's
Is
passable.
the footage okay?
It's passable.
It's passable.
Nah, it's great. And, you know, this is the last episode of season 2. And I want to talk about, because I didn't really see much on that day because I wasn't allowed to leave backstage from the competition. They were like,
didn't see you the day
they were
before.
they were like, you can't leave Ryland here on his own. I'm like, I can. And they were like, no, you can't. And then afterwards, you know, we had to get all of Ryland's kit out of the way because apparently it needed to be cleared before Matt King came in.
Who?
Matt King.
I'm joking.
Bloody Matt King. Thinks he's the big I am, comes all the way over from Vegas.
Yeah.
Takes our magic shows. Oh, good grief. So we had to
Fucking good, though.
It was amazing. So we had to get everything out. And so by the time I'd done that, you pretty much finished the bear pit. I managed to catch your final performance. But I've played it last week. People saw it. It's amazing. It's completely different to what we said you were going to do. We spent the best part of 6 months planning a bear pit act that never happened.
No.
Now you are the person that says to me, you like scripts, you like structure, you like doing things and thinking about them and scripting them.
Yeah.
And the latest 2 things that have happened on the Matt-umentary is you completely changed the trick that you did for the Curious Cabaret on the morning.
Yeah.
And then you changed the bear pit act on the morning of the bear pit. You went the night before, just as the dealers closed, you went and bought the candle trick.
Yeah.
And then the following,
We ran it twice in Drew's apartment on that night, and that was it.
and then did it
And then
at the bear
Saturday morning,
pit.
went
So
straight to
my
the
question
bear
is, as somebody who always bitches and moans about me flying by the seat of my pants,
Yeah.
when you had all the time in the world to prepare the bear pit act,
Yeah.
what made you decide to change it completely? Now, I'm not saying it wasn't good. It was a great act. I actually loved the structure, what you did, and I talked about this on the video I did last week. You took 3 very old concepts. That brick thing, in a different way, that's as old as the hills. Ryland's had that for ages. It's the oldest trick in the world. And
I did actually do that in the bear pit.
All right, okay. Well,
I did that in the show.
Oh, we'll talk about that in the show then. I didn't realise you didn't do it in the bear pit. But, you know, the whole taking their strength away and that sort of stuff, that's old Carney type stuff, that is. And then you know, the candle thing is cool. I know you got the latest version. I know it's with the new battery pack, and but it's not like a
It was around 2 years ago at Blackpool, apparently.
Yeah.
Which nobody's ever heard of it. It'd flown completely underneath the radar.
So, what made you change it all completely? Because I know you were happy with the act.
I was, yeah.
So what happened?
Sheer panic, I think.
What? See, when I panic because I'm not prepared. I don't panic because I'm prepared. I'm like, oh my God. I can't do this. I know I've been working through it for 6 months. I haven't got a fucking clue what I'm going to do. I know what I'll do. I'll scrap the whole thing and start again and do one run through. Yeah. That's not the sort of thing that you do when you panic.
I'm hanging around with you too much.
Yeah, that must be it. No, in all seriousness.
It worked at the Curious Cabaret, so...
No, that's not the reason you did it, though. I know it's not. You know.
No, it's basically... with Evoke, I was really struggling to get I had 8 minutes, and
I know you were bossing Evoke because you were doing it on the stand over and over again.
Yeah,
getting like magicians to cry.
I made 3 people cry. In
a good way.
In a good way. Yeah, I've got one of them on video. This woman just crying, like, and she was a Muggle. The two of them were Muggles. But yeah, Evoke. It was getting it to 8 minutes, and I was in the Ruskin with Drew the night before, and I was going, what am I going to do? Like, you were nowhere to be seen. I barely saw you all weekend because you were off doing meetings with Penguin, and you were not on our stand barely at all until the Sunday when it was all over and done with anyway. And I knew that you were busy, and I knew that you had shit on, and I knew that every time you left the apartment, you just got swamped by people. So I was just like, sitting in the bed, I was sitting in the ruskin with Drew, and I was like, what the fuck am I going to do? Like, we've got this Evoke Act. There's no way I can get that down to 8 minutes. There's no way. Just the Out of This World alone was taking me more than 8 minutes. And I'm like, for me, performing it, that is the strongest piece, Out of This World. That's the one I can play the best on. But if I can't even get that down to 8 minutes, the fuck am I going to do? I can't just, and even if I could get the Out of This World down to 8 minutes, I can't just walk into the bear pit, just do Out of This World and then leave. Do you know what I mean? You need multiple things. You need to get and I was just like, I said to Drew, what am I going to do? And he was like, if you can't get it down to 8 minutes, you've got to change it. And I was like, are you fucking insane? It's tomorrow. I can't change it now. And he was like, well, go in there and do Out of This World then. I was like, I can't go in there and do Out of This World. He was like, just call Craig. I was like, I can't call Craig. Craig's busy. You were at a dinner with Penguin or something, or Murphy's, or one of the many meetings and dinners and stuff that you were dragged off to. So I was just like, I can't get hold of him. He's going to be busy. It's Blackpool week. Like, the fuck are we going to do? And Drew was like, the only option is to change it. And I was like, well, what are we going to do? And he was the one that came up with the idea of the candle thing. And he went, I walked past Card Shark earlier, they've got one, I reckon you could play the crap out of that. And I was like, right, let's go and have a look. So we sat in the corner with the Ruskin, and he was like, just come up with a routine. So I came up with an idea, just a principle for an idea of what we were going to do. And he was like, he went sick. He said, okay, well, we're going to go, him and David went to the gala show. And then he was like, are you coming to the show? And I don't, actually, was it the gala show? I don't know if it was one of the shows.
Yeah, because it was the one I was getting my head cut off. And
that was the one. Yeah. So they went to see that. And then he was like, I went, right, well, the only time I've got to come up with a routine for this is now, right now. So you go and watch the show. You and David go and watch the show. When you come out of the show, call me and I'll have a routine done. And then we can just go and practice it. Like, we'll just go to your apartment and just practice it. So I did that. I sat in my room for like an hour and 10 minutes or something. And then Drew called me when he came out of the show. And then we went to his apartment, we set it up, and then I just did the routine. And Drew went, you've literally just come up with that. And I was like, yes. Like, literally while I was sitting in my room he went, right. And he gave me a couple of tweaks, and we added a couple of things and took a couple of things away. Then I ran it again, and David and Drew were both like, perfect. So I was like, right, let's do that then. Woke up the next morning, walked into the bear pit and did it.
Okay.
It was fucking terrifying. But I couldn't get hold of you. And I was just like, I can't just walk in, do Out of This World and walk out again. It's not going to work, is it? So the routine that you came up with and what Pete added and stuff with the JOL and all that kind of stuff is great. But there is no way in hell I'd have got that down to 8 minutes. There's no way. It just wouldn't have happened. So I had to change it.
Okay. Well, it was very good.
Thank you.
It was very motivational, kind of.
Well, I came up with this.
But I don't want to say bullshit. It wasn't bullshit. But
It was total
it's that
bullshit.
whole motivational. You can do it if you believe it. Next time you feel that you don't have the strength to survive another day, just take this crystal, hold it in your hand, and you will find the strength. I promise you. This crystal is going to change your life. It was kind of like that.
You made someone cry with Evoke. It's all about emotions. Evoke was all about emotions.
Yeah,
so
you know what the secret was? I kicked her in the shins under the table.
Yeah, I didn't kick anybody, and I made 3 people cry. So the whole Evoke thing is all about emotions and all that kind of stuff. So I just had that in my head because I was running through that for fucking days and weeks beforehand. Was that it's all about emotions and it's all about you know, connecting with people and all that kind of stuff. So all of that was already in my head. So when I was coming out with this routine, bearing in mind I only had just over an hour, it's just whatever came out. And that is what came out. And I remember sitting there because genuinely I wear this all the time. I never take this off. That's like an actual thing. I've always got it on. And people keep asking me if it's the world from Men in Black, but it isn't. Do you know what I mean, though? You've seen Men in Black. Yeah. But I've always got this. And I was
it's actually the galaxy from Men in Black.
The galaxy from Men in Black. But I was
Andromeda's galaxy, if you want to be specific.
Whatever. But I was sitting in my hotel room in my apartment, and then I was sitting there holding this. I don't know why, but But I was sitting there thinking, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Come up with something, come up with something. And I found myself, without even realising I was doing it, I had my hand wrapped around that. And then I was like, ping, fucking eureka. Let's use this as the thing.
Yeah.
And then I said to Drew when we got back, I can't remember if it was Drew's idea or my idea. If I can't remember if it was mine or Drew's idea, it was probably Drew's idea. And I wanted to include, I thought, what better way to include the people that are coming up than to give them something. But Drew was like, what are you going to give them? And he was like, actually, there's a place, like his mate had a stand in the main dealer hall, and he was like, he does crystals. So if you're using your crystal, why don't you give them a crystal? And I'm like, fucking genius, it's all coming together.
Here's a question, actually. Are you planning on doing that again?
Yeah.
Is it close up as well? You're going to give crystal out every single time?
No, because they're expensive.
Yeah, I was about to say,
literally,
that shit.
It cost me like 85 quid to give out all those crystals.
Next time you feel like you can't go on, buy your own fucking crystal.
Buy your own fucking crystal, yeah. If you come to me with a crystal, I'll do all that shit with it. But I'm not. It literally that act, because I thought I was going to have to do it 6 times in the bear pit. So I wanted to be sure. So I ended up buying 8 of them. And then I did it in the House of Secrets on the Monday night. So then I bought another 2. So it cost me about 85 quid.
Right. Well, it worked. But it's not the sort of thing you can do walk around.
No, not really. No.
And it's not really the sort of thing you can do in banquet. Really. Let me just put my candle down there, my box of matches, and you know what I mean? It's kind
I panicked when I got in there because you've got to be really careful. I didn't think about it at the time. We did it in Drew's apartment a couple of times. And then the next time I did it was in the bear pit. But when I walked into the bear pit and set it up, the fucking door was open. And there was a draft. And then
excuse me.
The whole thing doesn't fucking work.
No.
I was literally holding my hand over the candle like that, and Drew was like, it's pretty good, isn't it? I'm like, dude, it's not fucking on. It's not even on right now, and I can hold my hand this close to the candle because there was a draft coming right the way through it, which was having the same effect as the fucking match. So I'm like, God damn it, what are we going to do? He's like, he's going to close the door, and when the people come in here, it'll dull everything down, and the door will be closed, and it'll be fine. I'm like, are you sure? And he's like, yes. So I could tell in his face that he definitely wasn't. He was just trying to calm me down. But he was like, yes, it's going to be fine. Okay? And I was like, okay. And he went, have we got anything else that we can do right now? I was like, no. And he went, it's going to be fine. And luckily, it was. It worked really, really well. But yeah, in a close-up situation, you have to be very careful of breeze or drafts or people opening windows or doors or whatever. You definitely couldn't do it outside. You know what I mean? And in a close-up situation, it would be difficult. If somebody walked past briskly, you could have issues. It's very, it's quite temperamental. But in the right setting, in the right scenario, it works really, really well. And I'm only saying that as speculation because of the issues we had when we first walked into the bear pit. It may have just been we were standing directly in the way of a draft. I don't know. But yeah, it'd be a lot to set up for it to then not work at a close-up situation. So
For sure. Okay. Well, you bossed that. I mean, everyone has said that you killed it, which was amazing.
Thank you. I had one guy come up to me, which was one of the guys that I dragged up. And he waited around after the show, after the bear pit had finished, and he came up to me and he was like, thank you, I really needed that today. And I was like, oh, that's really sweet.
That's lovely.
And he was like, I'm gonna keep this forever. And I was like, in my head, I'm like, you do know this is bullshit, right? But he actually like, but I didn't want to take that away from him. You know what I mean? He was a lovely, lovely guy, and he just looked like he needed that today. So whether it was bullshit or not, it helped somebody out, you know?
That's amazing. Now let's talk about the House of Secrets, because we had a similar situation with the House of Secrets.
Yeah, we did.
You had this whole plan lined up.
Yeah.
Your plan. It wasn't like I even jumped in and gave you this plan. That was my... It's like, I'm going to talk about my journey into magic, and I'm going to start off doing the chop cup because the chop cup symbolises seeing Paul Daniels. Then I'm going to go in and I'm going to start talking about Uri Geller, and I'm going to do a spoon
I need to
bend.
give Wayne his fork back.
I'm going to do a spoon bend because that, or a fork bend, because that's going to be the moment there that symbolises.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to do a levitation because of this reason, and then I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that.
We took the levitation. We weren't going to do the levitation.
At the end, we've got all of the different numbers in there, and the numbers are going to mean this, and the numbers are going to mean that. And as far as I was aware,
none of it
happened. There was no theme really running through through the show.
Not really.
It was like, hey, I'm not going to take anything away. I have got points that I'd like to talk to you about.
Go for it.
But it was a great act. Like Russ Brown, I've been on the phone to Russ Brown today because he's booked Ryland for about 100,000 dates over the next few months.
Yeah, I can believe it.
And he said, look, get Matt to give you some dates. I'd love him back at the House of Secrets. And he doesn't have just anybody. So, I mean...
Yeah. He came up to me, as soon as I walked off stage, I went outside for a vape, and Russ came straight up to me and he just went, you want to come back again? And I was like, I'd love to. He went, we'll work it out.
So
yeah, he said the candle thing was one of the best pieces structurally that he's seen there in a really long time.
Yeah, he loved it. He absolutely loved it. I was on the phone to him today, and he said my two favourite things I've seen in a long time was your candle thing and Ryland's suit jacket escape.
Yeah, which were both brand new. Yeah,
both brand new.
Yeah.
But like there was no structure to it. There was 4 tricks as far as I was aware. There was the Luca Volpe the colour psychology. Then there was the Jay Sankey memory thing.
Yeah.
Then there was imposter, and then you finished off with.
Yeah, I did a couple of bits in between, like getting people to come up with the whole thing, and then the coin.
Yeah, but they were just really just lead-ins to.
Yeah. The coin thing was something that John Morton taught me.
Well, we'll talk about that in a minute.
As was that.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about that in a second. But first of all, what was the reason for changing everything?
Sheer panic. Like I was. Because
just so you guys know,
I know what you're going to say.
You sent me a video,
yeah,
literally the day before Blackpool, of the chop cup routine. And
I've got it. I know it. I can do it.
And I turned round to you and I said, "I've just watched the video. That's perfect."
You went, "That's way." Your exact words were, "That's way better than I thought it was going to be," which is probably one of the best compliments you've ever given me.
Yeah, and I was excited to see that, and then none of it fucking happened.
No, sheer fucking panic. Sheer exhaustion, and my head just fell off. Like, I've got the chop cup. I've done it since I've been back. I can do it. I've got it. I'm never one for like blowing my own trumpet at all in the slightest, but I think it's pretty fucking good. Like, I can do it. And then it got to the Monday morning, and my hands were shaking that because I've been fucking ill as well. You can hear in my voice. I've been ill since way before Blackpool. I was coughing on people all weekend. And my body had just give up, and I was trying to do, and I was trying to grab. My hands were shaking, and I was trying to grab and I was just like, I can't fucking do it. I physically couldn't do it. It was that long of a weekend. Bearing in mind, we were there from like the Wednesday lunchtime. Well, you were there even earlier than that.
Yeah.
And by the time, with not being very well, not being able to breathe out of my nose for 5 days, and being on the stand and doing Ryland's show and doing the Bear Pit and going to the Ruskin afterwards and spending time with people and doing meetings, and I sat there with John Morton and he taught me how to fucking hypnotise people and all this kind of stuff. By the time I got to the Monday, my brain was just done. I think as soon as the dealer hall finished on the Sunday at 5 o'clock, my brain just went and like that was, and then I was sitting in the Ruskin on the Sunday night, and then somebody said to me, who was it? Ryan said, "Oh, are you looking forward to your show tomorrow?" And I went, "Fuck me, I've got a show tomorrow." And my brain was just like, oh my God. And then I woke up on the Monday morning and was trying it, and my hands were just gone. My brain had fallen off, and I just couldn't do it. And I said to you before, I can't fucking do it. You know I can do it. I've sent you videos. I'm not copping out of it. I've fucking practiced. But I was that fucking... body was that fucked. I physically couldn't pick it up. And then I was like, well, I can't just walk out there and do a fucking fork bend for no reason at all. And again, I said couldn't get hold of you because you were wherever you were. And then again, I was sitting there with Drew. Well, I saw Drew in the Ruskin. I was like, "Need you?" And he was like, "What name?" And I was like, "I'm really struggling with the act. I think I'm going to need to change it." This was on the Monday. We were sitting in the West Coast Rock Cafe place having some lunch, and I think I'm going to need to change it. And he went, "Just put the candle thing in." I was like, "That's not a bad shout, actually." And then we sat there and we worked it out. And he was like, "Oh, we wrote it all down." And he was like, "How long is the intro going to take? How long is that going to take? How long is that going to take? Blah, 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 blah." And like, just what I did, we had it down to like 48 minutes. And I was like, "Well, I've only got 45. And he was like, "We can't add any more in then. Just blast through that." And I was like, "Okay, cool." So that's what we did. and it was pure. Just my hands were I don't know if you can pick it up on the video. If anybody saw me in person that night, but my fucking hands, my whole body was shaking, just running on fumes. And yeah, I'd have absolutely completely ballsed up the chop cup. I would have completely fucked it up. I'll do it on here if people want to see it, but I would have completely ballsed it up.
That's a shame.
But I can do it. I could. I've seen you the video. I can do it.
I know you can. I've seen you do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we just changed it, and I was like, if I'm not going to do
and is that how? I know your plan is to have your own mentalism show.
Yeah.
Is that the structure you're going to stick with, or are you going to go back to the original structure? Because that didn't say look. It was great, and your skill has always been and will always be. As a performer, you can put things across better than most magicians because you're a storyteller, you're a performer, you're an actor.
Yeah.
You can take 4 tricks and put them together and create an act out of it. But it was kind of a little bit like everybody loved it in the House of Secrets. Russ wouldn't have said to you, "Oh, it was amazing," if it wasn't.
Yeah.
But I know you're capable of a lot better. It was kind of a case of it was good.
There wasn't much of a story. There wasn't much.
It was kind of a case of. These are just 4 tricks that you've bought and you've just performed them together. That my issue with the act, and I'm being hypercritical now, but my issue with the act is it just felt like 4 tricks that you'd bought and stuck together.
It was.
Which it was.
Yeah.
Second of all, I thought that although there are similarities, although there are differences, I think that psychology and the imposter are too similar to each other to be done in the same show, and each one took about 15 minutes. When you think about it, psychology is... I have an object and you have to find it and I'm going to stop you from finding it using an influence. And imposter is, I have an object, you have an object, I don't know what it is, and I've got it. Nemid, who's always honest, said to me, I was with Nemid the other day filming with Lloyd, and Nemid said to me, I love Matt's show. Before I could say anything to him, I said, what do you think? Honestly, he said, it's amazing. I said, I agree. He said, the thing I took from it is 35 minutes of that act was basically the same 2 tricks.
Yeah.
And they're very similar to each other. And it was just like, I'm going to do this. Now I'm going to do this. Now I'm going to do the same trick, but in reverse.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I know,
now, maybe I'm wrong there because I don't do mentalism, but it was kind of like, it's different because the presentationally it's very different.
Yeah.
But when you actually boil it down...
I did think of that, to be fair.
Yeah,
but there weren't any other options.
No, I'm not saying there was. That's why I'm asking the question. So I'm telling you the stuff that I thought could have been improved.
I agree with you.
I just think that, like...
But I love both of them. Which one would you take out?
I think imposter is your best piece.
I love it. But I love psychology.
I know you do. And I think psychology is great. Don't get me wrong.
I tried to mix it up.
I think that if you did two halves, like Ryland does at the House of Secrets,
you
could do one in one half and one in the second half. I don't think it'd be a problem there. But when you're in essence doing 4 tricks, I think they need to be as completely different to each other as you can get. And it was although it was a mentalism show, it was a very untraditional mentalism show. In many ways, that's good. In that there wasn't any billets
everything
or anything
was
like
self-working.
No, it wasn't that. It was just there wasn't very many types of mentalism. It was kind of like, hey, I'm going to influence you to not get my money. Now I'm going to influence you to make it feel like you're losing your memory. Now I'm going to use my powers of influence to work out who's got a stick with a red dot on it.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to influence you into feeling like you're super powerful or whatever the narrative is with the final thing.
Yeah.
There wasn't any traditional, like the stuff you do with Stebbins and things like that. There was nothing like that translated onto a bigger stage.
Because Drew said that. Drew was like, why don't you do a bit of Anverdi Die to start with, or why don't you do some Stebbins and stuff? And I went, the whole point of this fucking thing is that I don't do Stebbins and Anverdi Die.
No, I use Stebbins as an example because your presentation with Stebbins I love, which is, hey, I'm going to teach you how to do this.
Yeah.
You're going to learn how to do this. Look at the left eye twitching and so, and that was your presentation, and that's great. And I think that can be translated into something else that doesn't involve Stebbins on a bigger stage.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
It's not so much about what the effect is. I'm not talking about Stebbins. I'm just saying there could have been something else presentationally.
Yeah, makes sense.
And the other thing that I've found weird, and again, this is the other thing that Nemeth actually said to me about. He said the coin thing felt a bit weird because it just
I
felt
got it fucking wrong.
Yeah, I was about to say it was like it was like he got it wrong like 5 times,
Three
and then when he
times.
got it wrong, he got it right once. It was like, right, let's move on.
Yeah.
And
Because I was
it
panicking. I was expecting it to just work, and it didn't. I've been doing that all weekend. John taught me that really early on in the weekend.
I like the inclusion of that.
Yeah,
I've seen that before. I like the inclusion of that.
it's really cool. But John taught me the coin thing, which is the witch hand, but with no gimmicks, and it's fucking amazing. And I was doing it all weekend in front of John, in front of everyone, and it was just. John can do that 100% of the time. He just gets it right. And I was just, I was practicing, and I was probably on about 80%, 85%, just smashing it. It was brilliant. It's so good. And then I was just like, I'll include that in it. We'll just do that. I'll do it to someone. I'll get them. I'll bring them up on stage. And then I got it wrong 3 fucking times. And I was like, holy shit, this isn't good. But then loads of people have said to me afterwards that they just thought that that was part of the act and I was doing it on purpose to prove that the person I was bringing up was the right person. Absolutely not. I fucked it up 3 times. I fucked it up 3 times. That wasn't part of the act. That wasn't showmanship. That was me getting it wrong, scrambling and trying to make it look like I meant to do it. So if it looked like I meant to do it, great.
Yeah,
but
it did, but I could tell that
but
you were...
that's not the case. I fucked it up 3 times, got it wrong. And then the last guy, in my head, I was like, I've got to guess this right in a minute. I've got to. And then I got it right. And then I was like, yeah, go on then. That was Andrew Lucas, I think.
Yeah, it was, yeah. The only other thing is, talking about Andrew Lucas, because he came and helped with this, I don't know how well the out to lunch day Sankey thing...
I've never done it on a stage
works on stage. I think you got away with it because you're an amazing presenter of magic.
I don't think I'd do it on stage again.
I just don't think it works.
See, in my head, right, when I do that in a close-up situation, the close-up situation kind of turns into a little bit of a fucking stage show. So when I do that live, that's how I do it. I separate one person from the rest of the group. If I'm walking up to a group of like 8 people, I'll do some bits, qualify one person. If that person I think is actually going to go for it, you know what I mean? Then they're going to be susceptible or not susceptible. Do you know what I mean? They're going to not just go, no, there was definitely 3. You know what I mean? If that person's going to go with it, then I'll get that person, I'll take them away from the group. So you've got like 5 or 6, 7, 10 people here, 1 person here. I'll do all the bullshit that I did with fucking Andrew, yada, yada, yada. Hand it out to 1 person. And then just however many people are here. And then I'm standing here with the 1 person. And it's effectively like a stage anyway.
Yeah.
So I thought, and it works really, really, really well in a close situation.
It didn't work as well in the stage.
I don't feel like it works as well, but I don't know why.
You know what I would put in its place if you wanted to have
Why wouldn't it work as well in that situation, though? Is there a reason why?
I think part of the reason is... I'd have to analyse it, but I think it might be something to do with the fact that you were using tiny little business cards or billets or whatever they are.
I just thought it's a small venue.
But people couldn't see what was on them. I was sitting quite close. I was at the front of the bar, and I couldn't even see what was on the... I knew what was meant to be on there.
Yeah.
I couldn't see what was on there. And part of it is, when you're performing it in a close-up environment, you're getting everybody else to confirm.
Yeah.
But you can't get everyone else to confirm. You can only get the 1 person to confirm because there's people there, it's dark.
Yeah.
I was close and I couldn't see. So now you're having to take the word of 1 person who could be a stooge.
Yeah.
Whilst when you're doing it in a close-up environment, everybody can see it.
Yeah.
So it would be a case of, if you were set on doing it, I would make an out-to-lunch pad out of an A4 clipboard.
Does that work?
Well, I've never seen one before, but there's no reason why it wouldn't. You'd have a clipboard and you'd have a piece of elastic. No, you just have an A4 clipboard with some A4 paper on it.
Yeah, I'm thinking about taking it out.
No, listen. You just have an A4 clipboard with the bulldog clip at the top, with paper on it. But you'd also take like a big, massive broccoli rubber band and put it around so it's like it's holding the paper in place. That would cover the thing. You'd get them to sign at the bottom, and then you'd turn it towards yourself and you'd pull it out and you'd just let go of the thing and it'd just come out. It should work. But what I would do instead of that, and you talked about this at the very, very beginning of the Matt-umentary, but then we stopped talking about it as a thing. If you had set on doing something like that at that point, I consider 100th Monkey.
100 Monkeys? I'd love to do fucking 100 Monkeys.
100th Monkey.
100th Monkey, whatever it's called.
The reason that I would suggest that is because it's a very similar effect, but it's designed for a stage performer.
Yeah.
So instead
Same
of taking...
or Cue the Magic. It's not a similar effect, but I would like to do that.
Yeah, either or. But 100th Monkey, you're taking away the ability of somebody to read.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the reason that plays bigger on stage is because people can see the cards. They can see what they're meant to be, and the person can't read them. Whilst with that, it's a tiny little business card type thing that nobody can see what's on there anyway. So you're relying on one person.
I've looked into 100th Monkey. I thought, that's bloody expensive.
It's not cheap, but I have one.
But then I went and spent 300 quid on a Matchbox. So.
Welcome to magic, Matt.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. But I mean, look, the show was great. You wouldn't get Ross Brown coming up to you going, "Oh, that was amazing."
I was surprised, actually. Like, he came straight up to me after the show and he was like, "Do you want to come back in the summer?" And I was like, "Whoa, yes." And they let me sign the wall.
Well,
I'm now on the wall.
But as I say, if you're set on having your own mentalism show, which I know you are, I would go back.
That was my first ever one.
Yeah, and no, look, most people that are watching this, their first show, if it even went 100th of as well as it did there, they would be over the moon, you know. But it comes back from, you know, years of experience as a performer and as a stage performer and so on and so forth. Yeah, it was great. It was absolutely fantastic. But I just changed around a couple of the bits.
Yeah,
maybe take out the coin thing.
100%.
Maybe consider
100%.
Maybe if you're doing one 45-minute show, don't do the both psychology and
makes
what's
sense.
in the same thing. Maybe put 100th Monkey in, and maybe think about the structure a little bit more. Other than that, I think it's...
If anyone's got 100th Monkey second hand, let me know. I want it.
I've got one. I've told you can have it.
You've got one?
I've got one.
Where?
I've got everything.
I know you've got everything.
At home. I'll bring it in for you.
I do want it. I do. I want to try it. I want to see if that works, because that would be a good addition, I think.
Yeah. No problem. Well done.
It's getting to the point where I've got too many fucking tricks to do a 45-minute show now. This is nuts. Like, I don't want to get rid of psychology, and I don't want to get rid of imposter, so I'll probably end up doing him in alternate shows.
I think imposter was one of the tricks of the convention, and I think
God, he sold out so quick.
Well, a big part of that is because of your performance on the Matt-umentary. I mean,
it's because John's an absolute genius.
John is an absolute genius, but it's also...
And I was lucky enough for him to allow me to perform it. But he came up to me, one of the first things he said to me at the convention, he just walked up and he went, "Thanks." I was like, "What for?" He went, "I've sold out." I was like, "Really?" And he was like, "Yeah, I'm done." I was like, "Holy shit, this was like the Saturday lunchtime or something." He went, "Yeah, I've sold out." I was like, "Holy crap." He went, "It's because of that video." I mean, it's not. It's because it's a fucking sick trick, dude. Like, it's got nothing to do with...
But that video let more people see what it was.
Yeah, the video got it out there or whatever. But it's incredible. He's incredible. And then I sat down with him for like 3 hours and he taught me how to hypnotise people. And then I went around and hypnotised some people. It's cool, man. Wait till Jack gets back. We're going to be dancing around the fucking room like a chicken and all sorts of stuff. It's going to be great. You're not going to be susceptible to it because you'll just go, whatever.
Yeah.
But Jack would be, I reckon. I reckon we could at least stick Jack's hand to the table, I reckon.
I look forward to
I don't believe in any of that kind of stuff. And John still managed to stick my hand to the table. And I was like, this is fucking weird. And then he tried to take my voice away and it didn't work. But he did stick my hand to the table. And then we got Jay. Got him doing all kinds of weird shit. It was great. I bet he doesn't remember any of it either. But yeah, but we're hypnotising people. I'm going to get you to do the finger thing in a minute and see if it works for you.
Right. Well, congratulations on passing season 2.
Thanks, man.
Season 3...
No, there isn't a fucking season. We're done.
No,
we're done.
No, we're not. I'm going to give you a little tease for season 3.
I don't need there to... Why are we having a season 3? We don't need there to be a season 3. We're done. Like, it's finished. I'm a magician. I'm a professional. I've done a stage show. I've done the bear pit.
Just stop talking.
I don't need to do anything else.
Stop talking. This is not about you.
What do you mean it's not about me? It's me that has to do it.
So season 3 of the Matt-umentary will be coming... We did season 1 in sort of November last 2 years ago. Season 2 came November last year. I promise everybody...
So I've got until November to get another job.
I promise you there will be a season 3 of the Matt-umentary.
Sirius just activated when I said get another job.
I do think that the important thing about the Matt-umentary is this whole fish out of water aspect. putting Matt
No, it's
into...
not.
Yes, it is.
The whole point
Stop
of
talking.
it,
Stop
it's
talking.
called
It's not about you.
Muggle to Magician.
Yeah.
The whole point of it was to turn me into a magician. We've now successfully done that.
Yeah.
I can show you my invoice from December if you want.
No,
There's loads of stuff on there where it's got gig.
I know.
It's done.
No, it's
The
not.
whole point of it wasn't to humiliate me and put me out of my fucking comfort zone. The whole point of it was to turn me into a magician, which we have now done.
So now...
In one season. There's now been 2 seasons.
Yeah.
I was a professional magician before the start of season 2.
Yeah, but then we put you into a
We'd
really
already
awkward
succeeded.
position, which was awkward, performing in the world's largest magic convention. I think everybody can say season 2 was a success.
Brilliant. So let's end on a high. We're done. We've succeeded.
Just stop
We've got
talking.
some good views. We've got some good stuff on the channel.
Do you know how many
There's
people
some good content.
are watching
It's
this
great.
around the world and they're being inspired by your journey? The amount of people that
Well,
met
there's
him-
a whole 2 seasons they can go and rewatch.
No, they want season 3. So I've been giving it a long, hard thought, and this is what's going to happen in season 3. First of all, we have to put Matt out of his
What
comfort
time's the
zone
job
again.
centre close?
We have to put Matt out of his comfort zone. So there's 2 things that's going to happen in season 3. Number 1, because you have to up it, don't you, Michael? I mean,
Obviously.
What do you
season
mean you have to up it?
Well, season-
I've just done the fucking bear pit.
No.
I was the only person in the history of the Blackpool Magic Convention, as far as I'm aware, and confirmed by Russ, that was in the Blackpool fucking brochure and performed in the bear pit after only doing magic for 12 months. That's
Exactly.
never happened before.
No, it hasn't. You're right.
We peaked. We've done.
No, we're
we
not.
can't go any higher than that. We've smashed it.
We're not peaked. So that's the point. Season 1, it was all about him doing the show at the Rugeley Rose. Season 2, we did 2 things. It was about the Bear Pit and about the House of Secrets. So we're doing 2 things this year.
Well, I've got an illusion show coming.
I know. Oh, really?
Yeah.
That means I have as well.
Yeah.
Great. When? Is it 27th?
I've just got rid of it.
So, season 2,
It
season
distracted
3,
me enough to do it.
season 3, we got 2 things. First of all, it has to be putting Matt out of his comfort zone. It has to be putting him
Everything's
into a
been putting Matt out of
position.
my comfort zone.
So, there's 2 things that we're going to do. The first part of season 3, and me and Michael are going to be prepping for it. The first part of season 3 is following Matt's journey as he auditions for the Magic Circle.
There's another one.
Great.
Oh, that's March.
You're going to audition for the Magic
Where
Circle.
this illusion show's coming from?
So
Audition for the Magic Circle. Right. Well, to be fair, I'm terrified about doing it because everyone that I've spoke to has gone, they don't really like mentalists. So I'm going to fail, but I'd quite like to go down and audition.
See, now that's the problem. You say, to be fair, he'd like to go down and audition. That's my problem. That's not enough. The Matt-umentary is all about upskilling him. The Matt-umentary is all about putting him in a position where he's having to learn new skills. He's having to improve. So we're going to follow his journey as he auditions for the Magic Circle and does the audition at the Magic Circle.
They're not, I mean,
And
it's
we
going to be
put his-
terrible for fucking YouTube because they're not going to let you film inside the building.
I've filmed inside that building many times. You know who I am? Anyway, so season 3, so season 3 is going to be
Season 3 doesn't
following his journey to audition to the Magic Circle.
Which
and
they're not
get
going to
into
let
the
me in
Magic
because I'm a
Circle,
mentalist.
which is going to be amazing. But I don't think that's enough. So the other thing is, I would like to, on behalf of Matt Cluley, officially announce that Matt is going to be forming a double act with Ryland Petty and is going to be competing in the 2024 Children's Entertainer of the Year competition at Kidology this year.
What?
I've already spoken to Alec and he's totally up for it. So you've mastered being a mentalist. You've mastered
I
being a
haven't
close...
mastered being a mentalist. I've just started.
I know. So now it's time. I saw you Chihuahua in season 1.
I don't want to do fucking... I don't want to do a kid's show.
I know, that's why you're doing it with Ryland. So this year,
What do you mean I'm doing it with Ryland?
2-person show. You and Ryland competing at the Children's Entertainment.
When is this?
Huh?
When is it?
September. So we'll be following his journey. We're going to be
Why
getting...
would I want to do that?
Him and Ryland are going to be doing kids shows. We're going to be filming him as he goes and does kids shows.
I don't
and
want to
as he-
do kids shows.
As he learns to be a kids entertainer. He's
don't
going
wanna
to
be
be
a
bringing
kids
his
entertainer.
special brand
Kids
of performance.
terrify me.
Exactly, and that's why we're doing it. He's bringing his special... I want to show everybody here that even if you're a hardcore mentalist, you can still absolutely do every type of performance, including performing to kids. So, Matt, season 3, starting soon. You are going to learn to be a kids entertainer. You're going to be going out there. You're going to be going to non-stop kids parties. You're going to be learning how to chihuahua. And you and
I
Ryland,
know how to chihuahua.
You and Ryland.
I'm not having a million. I'm supposed to be
You
a
and
professional fucking magician now.
No. You know how much
Going
it
out doing
hates
mentalism
me.
shows
You
and
know
shit.
how much I hate.
I'm not having this dickhead make loads of fucking videos of me doing the fucking.
You know how much I hate people looking down on kids entertainers.
I'm not looking down on kids entertainers.
I'm glad you are,
Kids
'cause you're gonna be
entertainers
one.
are amazing. They're incredible at what they do, but I'm not one.
Yes, you are. Well, you will be. So, season 3 is going to be about Matt learning how to perform for kids. And it's going to be a beautiful buddy cop type thing because he's going to have Ryland with him every step of the way. We're going to be watching him and Ryland put their act together. And Matt, you're entering the Children's Entertainer
This is a
of the Year.
fucking terrible idea.
You're entering the Children's Entertainer of the Year with Ryland. And I know you're going to win.
No, we're not.
Yeah, you are. Guys, look for season 3 of the Matt-umentary coming soon. Let me know what you think. It's going to be brilliant. I'm Craig.
This is gonna suck.
No, it's not. It's going to be brilliant. Say bye, Matt.
No.
Say bye. Say bye. Tell them how excited you are. Tell them you're excited.
I'm not excited.
It's his excited face. We'll see you again very, very soon. I'm Craig. This is Matt. Michael's behind the camera. Thank you for watching season 2
You're a
of the
dickhead and all. You knew about this, didn't you?
Yes, he did. Season 2 of the Matt-umentary has come to an end, but season 3 will be here soon. Matt, learning how to be a kids entertainer and getting into the magic circle.